Welcome back to the Papa Meat channel. How you doing? Come on in and sit on down. Today we're going to be talking about a bit of a horror comedy that I just got done watching that I wanted to talk to you about called Glorious, which is about a man who stops at a rest stop bathroom. In one of the stalls, there's a little glory hole, and on the other side of the glory hole is a primordial god, like a Lovecraftian kind of god. And this movie was just really interesting. I wanted to talk about it. It came out about 9 months ago in 2022. Very low indie production. It's a Shudder original, which they're kind of like hit and miss with advertisement and how they kind of circulate amongst moviegoers. I remember there was really good press for my buddy's film, The Sadness, Rob Jabaz. It's an amazing Taiwanese horror zombie film, and that got a lot of good press and a lot of clippable moments. But sometimes with these even smaller budget things, it's really hard to like pick good moments to share, which makes people want to go actually see it. The concept alone of a demigod inside of a rest stop bathroom and you're communicating with him through a glory hole is awesome, but I didn't see really any trailers that really prominently feature it, so I wanted to take time because I thought the movie was pretty sweet. Also, I just want to say, a glory hole, for people who don't know, a glory hole is a small hole in a wall, in a bathroom wall, that you put your cock and balls. If your cock's really big, then maybe not that, but if you have a small little cock, then you put your cock and balls through. But you put your cock through it, and usually you can fuck somebody or get your cock sucked anonymously, which is very Christian-like, which I like. So just want to say, that's why it's, you know, it's a little silly. So maybe a little movie, you know, to watch this weekend. So let's get into it. There will be some spoilers. I want to talk about this movie. I think it's a lot of fun, but just know this movie's, it's fun. It's a good time. If you like H.P. Lovecraft shit, I would check it out. But, you know, spoilers ahead. This movie follows our main character, Wes, who looks like he just got in a bad breakup. He's very sad. He's driving around, his stuff is packed. It looks like he just got kicked out by his lady. He ends up in a rest stop area. He kind of emotionally going through this whole mess. Big pity party. That night, he gets fucking wasted, burns all this shit, burning memories, really just kind of like scorching the earth. Wakes up in the morning, his goddamn pants are burnt. He decides to go in the bathroom to throw up, take a piss, regroup, but he gets locked inside the bathroom. And what's inside the bathroom with him? Just an eldritch god, a primordial being, who is at the install of this bathroom, and there's a interesting like Lovecraftian god painting in the bathroom stall, which, you know, it was a bit on the nose. I was like, I kind of wish that it was just the glory hole, because the glory hole is just disgusting. Usually people put tape, not that I know, I don't know, I mean, I haven't done it before or anything, but there's like a weird tribal kind of painting on the wall that looks like an H.P. Lovecraft monster, like a Cthulhu-esque kind of monster. As Wes is starting to talk to this person in the stall, I mean, obviously he doesn't think that he's a god. It becomes very apparent that this thing is a creature from a different dimension. It's able to get into his head, and instances of Lovecraftian shit happening in this movie. The descent into madness is always kind of a Lovecraftian trait that happens. Being tormented by his love, and, you know, this monster who reveals himself to be a god. He says he needs something from him, that like he brought him here for a specific reason. This encounter with the Lovecraftian god is not of chance. This is a calculated plan. And it sets in mind a little seed of like, well, what could he possibly need, this weird god? What could he want with this poor, sad, Little Dicky kind of looking guy? He kind of reminded me of Little Dicky a little bit. I was watching the movie and I was like, it looks like a Little Dicky. But the movie does something that I like a lot with low-budget horror movies, which have done well. I think it adds to the charm of the movie. And I think it's done well in this movie, where pretty much the whole movie takes place just in this bathroom. We get to really just play in this space, which I really enjoy. I just like really limited spacing and stuff. It's why I like Cube so much. You know, that's why I don't know why. Don't tell me why I like this movie so much, but Panic Room, weird callback. Don't watch Panic Room. You don't. I forget I even said that. But this movie follows some interesting ups and downs. It's kind of a weird slow burn of finding out who Wes is and what his relationship with his girlfriend means to him. And it's all of these things where you're kind of wondering the whole time, why the fuck do I care? You can kind of tell that the director or the writer, whatever, is trying to really like tip his hat to like, man, he really loves this woman. Why does he love this woman so much? Which in my mind, I was like, please don't do a thing where it's like, wait, am I God too? And he's like, yes. Which, to be fair, I say yes like that because the demigod is voiced by J.K. Simmons. You might have known him from Whiplash or the Spider-Man movies. You know, he had that popular meme where he laughed, ha 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 ha.
Are you serious?
J.K. Simmons, he's fucking awesome. The idea of the movie is the Lovecraftian god really slowly over time reveals who he is. His dad, who is this god, he was a mass of energy that created the universe, and his kids were also born in the universe, and His dad hated life and wanted to kill it, but his kids stopped him from doing that. Pretty much, you know, Kronos and Zeus, kind of like standard stuff. His dad created this Lovecraftian god who resides in the stall with him, and he's meant to destroy all life. By staying in this stall, his father's coming close to him, and he's going to manifest into his physical form, in which there he will basically kill all of life, not on Earth, but in the entire universe. You don't get that, though, until like an hour, and this movie's pretty short, an hour and 19 minutes. It's very, very short. You get that bit of information maybe 50 minutes into the film, where it's like a huge bombshell, and around that time, all these bombshells keep happening, and it essentially accumulates to the monster needs to have a sacrifice of Wes's liver, and then he'll be able to return into the Aether, hide from his father again, and all of life will be saved. Wes is devolving down. Not only is he heartbroken, he doesn't know what the fuck's happening. He's been slowly descending into madness in this entire movie until he kind of erupts and he starts calling out for this deity's father. Right? He says, oh, come get him, fuck him. I don't want to be the person to save humanity. Fuck humanity. And it's a very weird, cold thing to say. You know, you would think that this person that we're supposed to like is supposed to be a bit more of a hero, right? But he says, no, fuck it. And the wall starts collapsing down, you know, and we get a lot of very typical kind of like ethereal lighting, which is usually like your pinks, your purples, your blues. Think of like color out of a space. It's kind of just that space color palette. Very neon 80s synthwave kind of color palette. I think a lot of people use that for space stuff, but it works and it looks pretty fun, especially because there's only one tiny window in the bathroom. So sometimes that pink washes over and it looks really nice. But the big twist of this movie though is that you find out while he's getting ready to do it that Wes actually murdered his girlfriend once she found out that he also murdered some other people as well. And Wes is a serial killer. He kills women. So while he's doing the sacrificial thing, you're kind of happy that he's cutting himself open and he's doing a good thing, but at the same time, it's very brutal. And there's this very great scene where all of the victims that he's killed reach inside of his body, and it's a great practical effect, and they start ripping out his liver. It cuts back to reality, and the god is sucking out his liver from his body. And as this all accumulates, he's able to go, and Wes kind of asks, you know, am I a hero? And that God answers, no, we're both objects of destruction that deserve to die and be forgotten about. And Wes kind of dies at the end holding the little teddy bear that his girlfriend that he loved, that he killed, gave him. It's not the best movie in the world. It's not a movie that like really stands out as like, oh my God, you have to see this. But I think it's a kind of independent movie that needs to at least be shown and seen a little bit more because it does a lot of fun things and it executes a story simply. It's this kind of story where I feel like once you see it once, I don't really know if you'd want to see the movie again, but it's at least a fun experience for one time. I mean, there's a really funny part where the demigod's like, you need to give me something. And of course, he's behind a glory hole. And Wes goes up and he puts his cock into the glory hole. And the god's like, what are you doing? No, I just need your liver.
I thought you thought your human penis was going to save the universe?
So I'm glad they didn't take the angle of like, you have to satisfy me by fucking me or something. It doesn't really go those routes, but it plays into the comedy in a very fun way where it taps little moments that are nice, but then it kind of keeps it in the realm of like a nice thriller drama with a little tint of just like horror with this like nice, really well hidden Lovecraftian monster. And you do get a reveal at the end, and I was like, because the way that they play up how they hide the monster is very good, the whole movie. They don't overly show it. There's some great moments where you see like the eye of the monster, and you know, even Wes is trying to look at the monster, look over the bathroom, and he is punished for doing that. So they're working within their budget in a really fun way. But at the end, there's a moment where you kind of see him, and it's fun, but it looks heavily composited and kind of cheap. You're gonna, what do you do? A 2-second, 3-second, shot. You can live with that. But a lot of just fun stuff, and there's like a lot of great moments of just like really great cinematography, really fun uses of this space. Like it starts off kind of sterile. I mean, it's not the most clean bathroom, but it's like a scuffed, clean bathroom. But over time, it just becomes more and more gross and stained. It becomes more decrepit as you also learn more about these characters. It's like the staining of their characters begins to happen more and more as we reveal who both of these characters are, the god and Wes. Both implements of destruction and evil. The biggest thing though is that the god doesn't want to destroy humanity, or he doesn't want to destroy life.
I just want to chill.
And he doesn't want to do what he's supposed to do, versus Wes, who has already kind of done a bunch of evil and killed shit, and now he's living with the burden of killing somebody that he loved because she found out who he really was. It's just done in a fun way. I think the performances of, you know, B-list or C-list Little Dicky is fun, and J.K. Simmons is great as just this kind of ominous voice that you're talking to, and it kind of just, it's like talking to the devil on your shoulder the whole time, the angel and the devil on your shoulder the whole time, and that's just a really fun premise. But like I said, they use the space in a really fun way. There's a moment where a property manager shows up and he gets stuck in the stall with him. His name's Gary. When Gary tries to see the monster, he dies. And as that happens, he gets ripped apart and it starts raining blood. It's not like a cartoony red. It's like a really dirty, rusty brown. And it has like, it's just gross. It looks like it's staining everything. But by having that happen, like I said, it really adds to the layers of kind of disgust that you feel from finding more and more stuff out about these people. So, and I thought that was really fun. A lot of cool, just interesting, well thought out things to do in this space too. Like, while the god is talking to Wes, you know, we get to have a little backstory. On the walls of the stalls in the bathroom, it's like a cave painting as he's being shown. And it doesn't feel cheap, it just kind of feels like, oh, he can pretty much control you however he wants to. So it's just like little moments of those inspirations that really stand out. There's a couple moments where the CG comes in and they don't really push things the way they should. Like there's this really cringy part where Wes is in like this weird tormented flashback where he's talking with his girlfriend and she screams and it like some tentacles are coming out of her eyes, but that's it. But it just looks like a couple earthworms and it just looks really stupid. They didn't do anything else with it. She's just like, ah, and that's it. So you're just like, oh, okay. But all in all, the movie, it reads well. It's a fun movie. I think that as just like a little recommend for you this weekend, if you don't have any plans, feel free to watch Glorious. It's a great movie. It's a glorious movie. It feels like it could be a fun date night movie. It feels like it could be, you know, hanging out with your friends, or if you're just hanging out by yourself.
Are you seriously watching
Glorious
by yourself?
Nah, I'm with my...
Feel free to put it on. It's a really great movie, and I just wanted to shout it out. I thought it was really cool. So not every day you get to talk about a movie with a Lovecraftian god in a bathroom with a glory hole. I think it's a fun concept. It could have been one of those movies that takes it into a very, very cringy space where they think the comedy has to continuously come from the glory hole in the bathroom. And you don't have to do that. The glory hole is there. It can be there. It's already a funny enough setup. Treat the movie serious and have a fun time with it. And they just put a little sprinkle of fun stuff along the way. So, you know, Glorious. Thought it was a pretty fun movie. Like I said, not the most perfect movie in the world, but if you're looking for something this weekend, this is what I'd recommend. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it, and I'll be seeing you in the next one. See ya.